I want to ask you some question. My topic is discuss how to identify and avoid toxic positivity.
Walaikum assalam, Tahir. Absolutely, I'd be happy to help you out with that topic. We can dive into what toxic positivity is, how to spot it, and some strategies to avoid it. Just let me know what specific questions you have in mind.
Okay, my first question is what is toxic positivity and how does it differ from genuine optimism?
Great question. Toxic positivity is essentially the excessive and forced focus on positive emotions, often at the expense of acknowledging or validating negative feelings. It can look like insisting that everything is fine or encouraging people to just stay positive even when they're going through tough times. On the other hand, genuine optimism acknowledges both the challenges and the positive aspects. It's about maintaining a hopeful outlook while still validating and addressing the real complex emotions that people experience. So the key difference lies in balance and authenticity.
Okay, what are some common signs that someone is practicing toxic positivity?
Yeah, definitely. Some common signs include things like dismissing or minimizing someone's negative emotions, always pushing for a positive outlook even when it's not appropriate, and using phrases like just stay positive or look on the bright side in situations where someone really needs empathy and understanding. Another sign is a lack of emotional validation where people feel pressured to ignore their struggles instead of expressing them. It can also appear as a kind of guilt tripping where people feel ashamed for having negative emotions. All of these are signs that toxic positivity might be at play.
How can toxic positivity negatively impact mental health and relationship?
Absolutely. It can have some pretty significant impacts. For mental health, toxic positivity can lead to feelings of invalidation or isolation because people might feel like their genuine emotions aren't welcome or understood. This can actually increase stress, anxiety, and even depression because people aren't able to process their emotions healthily. In terms of relationships, toxic positivity can create a lack of trust and intimacy. If someone feels like their partner, friend, or family member isn't truly listening or empathizing, it can create distance and misunderstandings. Over time, that can weaken the bond and make it harder to support each other effectively.
Why do people often respond with toxic positivity even if they mean well?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Often people respond with toxic positivity because they genuinely want to help and they might feel uncomfortable with negative emotions or difficult conversations. Sometimes it's just a way to protect the other person or themselves from discomfort. It can also be influenced by societal norms that prioritize positivity and resilience, making it seem like expressing negative. Absolutely. It's definitely a complex mix of intentions and social influences, and often it comes from a good place, even if the outcome isn't always helpful. It's definitely something that can be unlearned with more awareness and empathy. If you
Okay,
have any more.
how can cultural or social norms contribute to toxic positivity?
Yeah, definitely. Cultural and social norms play a big role. In many cultures, there's a strong emphasis on resilience, optimism, and maintaining a positive public image that can lead people to feel pressured to hide their struggles or pretend everything is okay, even when it's not. Social media also plays a part where people often showcase only the positive aspects of their lives, reinforcing the idea that everyone should be happy and upbeat all the time. This kind of environment can really make toxic positivity more common and harder to avoid.
Okay, how can you recognize if you yourself are engaging in toxic positivity?
That's a great reflection to have. Some signs include noticing if you tend to dismiss others' negative feelings quickly, or if you find yourself always pushing for a positive perspective without truly acknowledging the person's experience. Another indicator is if you feel uncomfortable or impatient when someone expresses negative emotions. It can also show up if you feel guilty or anxious about your own negative feelings and try to suppress them. Being mindful of these patterns and open to self-reflection is a great first step.
What emotions are often suppressed when someone relies on toxic positivity?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the common emotions that tend to get suppressed include sadness, anger, frustration, anxiety, and even grief. When someone feels pressure to stay positive, they might push these feelings aside, which can lead to emotional buildup or even long-term stress. It can also affect self-awareness and emotional health overall.
How can journaling or self reflection help identify patterns of toxic positivity?
Absolutely. Journaling and self reflection are really powerful tools. By regularly writing down your thoughts and feelings, you can start to notice patterns in how you respond to negative emotions or how you interact with others. It helps you become more aware of moments when you might be minimizing your own or others' feelings. It also provides a space for you to practice more balanced and empathetic responses. And over time, that self awareness can really help you shift away from toxic positivity and foster more genuine emotional connections.
What role does self compassion play in avoiding toxic positivity?
Self compassion plays a huge role. It encourages you to be kind and understanding toward yourself, especially during difficult times. When you practice self compassion, you allow yourself to feel and acknowledge all emotions without judgment, which helps reduce the pressure to stay positive all the time. It also fosters a more genuine and supportive inner dialogue, making it easier to embrace vulnerability and authentic emotions. This in turn helps you avoid falling into the trap of toxic positivity.
How can we balance staying positive while acknowledging negative emotions?
Balancing that really comes down to embracing both perspectives. It's about acknowledging and validating your negative emotions first, giving yourself permission to feel them fully, and then gently guiding yourself toward a positive outlook. It helps to practice mindfulness so you stay present with your feelings without judgment. Also, leaning on empathy and self compassion can help you acknowledge the complexity of your emotions while still fostering hope and optimism. It's really about creating space for all emotions to coexist.
How can toxic positivity harm friendship, family relationships, or romantic relationships?
Yeah, it can definitely have a negative impact. In friendships or family relationships, toxic positivity can create a barrier to genuine connection. When someone constantly dismisses or downplays another person's struggles, it can lead to feelings of isolation, invalidation, and even resentment. People might start to feel like they can't be open or vulnerable, which can erode trust and intimacy. In romantic relationships, it can be particularly challenging because partners might feel unsupported or misunderstood. It can also prevent meaningful problem solving and emotional intimacy. Overall, the lack of genuine empathy and validation can really weaken the bond and make it harder for relationships to thrive.
Okay, what are healthy ways to support someone who is going through a difficult time?
There are definitely some great approaches. One of the most important things is to actively listen without judgment, allowing them to express their feelings fully. It's also helpful to validate their emotions, letting them know that it's okay to feel what they're feeling. Offering your presence and empathy rather than just solutions can make a huge difference. Sometimes practical support, like helping with daily tasks or just checking in regularly, can also be really comforting. Ultimately, it's about being patient and compassionate and letting them know they're not alone.
What are some practical techniques to avoid slipping into toxic positivity?
Absolutely. A few practical techniques include practicing active listening, where you really focus on understanding the other person's feelings without immediately offering solutions or silver linings. Another technique is to cultivate mindfulness so you can stay present and aware of your own emotional reactions and those of others. It also helps to ask open ended questions that encourage deeper exploration of feelings rather than jumping straight to positive responses. Also, setting aside time for self reflection and journaling can help you become more aware of your tendencies. And finally, fostering self compassion allows you to be more patient, and understanding with yourself too.
How can workplaces or teams create environments that discourage toxic positivity?
That's a great question. Workplaces and teams can foster a healthier environment by promoting open communication and psychological safety, where everyone feels comfortable sharing their true feelings without fear of judgment. Leaders can model vulnerability by openly acknowledging challenges and setbacks and encouraging the team to do the same. It also helps to provide training on emotional intelligence and empathy so team members can better understand and support one another. Creating regular check-ins and feedback loops also ensures that people have a space to voice concerns and emotions. Ultimately, it's about fostering a culture of empathy, openness, and balance.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. If you have any more questions,